Welcome to Book Huddle. I'm excited to have Claudine on today. She is with Outdoor Play Connections, and I'm going to go ahead and let Claudine tell you about what she does with the online aspect of her business. And also, she's in New Jersey. She has clients and families come to her as well. So, Claudine, can you tell us about what you do for work?
Yes. So I'm an outdoor lifestyle coach and I help families get outdoors with their kids simply. I bring simplicity to the outdoors. And I do this in a few different ways where I can work with you one-on-one and just basically help you figure out the time in your schedule to make the outdoors accessible to you in whatever that looks like in your capacity. And also, I just feel like getting outdoors is very personal. So it might look differently to you than it might look to somebody else. And then I also offer a group coaching program where I help parents set up outdoor play groups for themselves and their children to not only get outdoors, but to also build a community for themselves. And then I work locally with families where I run outdoor nature school classes where we do learn through nature and art. And I'm about to be launching a nature school, which will be a drop-off program, an enrichment program for homeschoolers, and an after-school program.
Oh, that is so awesome. So, you're in New Jersey and you're in
Mhm.
quite a congested area. So, tell me what it looks like when people are coming to you for these outdoor connections in one of these congested areas, because I guess I don't think of New Jersey as a good outdoorsy place to have these activities. Tell me what you bring.
Yeah, so I mean, I love to think outside the box of like, where are you and what is the outdoors?
Right.
Because people often will define the outdoors with what they see on the internet, is that you
Yeah.
have to go to like this big open forest area or
Right.
into this really big park where like you just kind of disappear from the world. And that's
Right.
amazing, don't get me wrong. But getting outdoors can also be stepping outside your home, whatever that
Yes.
looks like, and looking at the sky, checking out the colors of the trees, seeing what birds are around or other wildlife, because that is
Yes.
also nature. Nature is always around us. So I like to help families understand that getting outdoors doesn't have to be a 4 hour outing. It can
Yes.
absolutely be an all day outing or for a few hours, but you can actually find time every day to get outdoors. So in here, like we are right next to New York City. So it
Right.
is a hustle bustle area, but we have these two amazing reservations right near us. And
Right.
I can drive about 10 minutes and we can get into the
That's good.
forest and
That's
we
awesome.
can enjoy nature right there and kind of just step away from the busyness.
That's fantastic and so proximate, just 10 minutes. That's very
Yeah, it's
accessible.
wonderful. New Jersey's very green.
That's awesome. Excellent. Because, yeah, I guess I don't even realize that. I've never been there. Don't even think of it that way. Excellent. So, if you're going on an outing and say you're going, whether it be, so I live in the Shenandoahs in Central Virginia. And so I'm very much that open land area behind my house is a national park. But if you were talking to somebody and it was me or your friend across the street, would it depend what you would tell them who you're talking to for what to wear, what to bring on this outing?
So yeah, we start with where do you live
Okay.
because the environment's different, what season it is, right? So
Yes.
my winter might be a little cooler than your winter, although this winter has not been exactly what we've loved,
Yeah, we've
but
had a lame winter, like no
yeah.
snow.
So I think we start with first of where you live and then figure out what would be the best thing for you. So I always tell people start with rain gear because
Okay.
rain gear can get you through most of the year
Right.
and layer underneath. Right.
Yes.
And if you have a colder winter, that's when you want to invest into the snow gear. And there are,
Okay.
if you're living up more north and you have more of a winter, then absolutely you're going to wear the winter gear more.
Right.
But the rain gear can really do a lot for you throughout the whole year. So I feel like that outer layer is really important. And we just kind of break down and, what works for your kids in the sense of like, do they like a full, like they make suits that are one piece, they make suits that are two
Right.
pieces. And I understand kids I mean, I do
Yes.
too. Sensory is a thing. How
That's
your clothes
exactly what I
fit
was just
matters.
thinking. Like, oh, too much is touching
Yeah.
me. I've got a kid like that.
Right. And the full one piece suits are actually really great, especially for the littles, because there's no way for anything to get underneath and in
Yes.
between the two piece.
Right.
And they can just literally like slide down a mud hill and then come
Oh,
home
nothing up the back.
completely
Yes.
clean.
Yes.
Right. So you
Lovely.
just take off the suit and your kid is clean. It like saves your clothes. So it's
Nice.
definitely worth the investment in getting a good outer layer.
Excellent. Excellent. I love that. All right. And then what kind of things do you recommend somebody bring? So it's spring and we're going out for an outing with the family. We want to be out for 2 hours. What are you going to tell me to bring?
Well, I would first talk to you about what time of day are you going. A lot
Okay.
of times with littles, you're trying to work around naps. You're working around
Yes.
meals. So if you want to make it simple, go out
Yes.
between meals, right? Like,
Yes.
so if you want to have lunch out, you have to pack lunch. If you don't want
Yes.
to pack lunch, don't.
Right.
Just don't go when it's
Really
lunchtime.
think about your time.
So yeah, and it's really great. I find if your kids are really young to get out in that morning time and they just have all the
Yes.
energy after resting all night. So make a quick and easy breakfast. I love
Mhm.
having hot oatmeal in the morning when it's cooler weather out. Or just, if they like eggs, make some scrambled eggs and get out the door. And
Nice.
then be out for 2 hours and bring their favorite snacks and bring a snack that they don't usually have.
Oh, that's a good
So
idea. So this novelty that
yes.
good.
I like to bring like a granola bar that has chocolate chips in it. We
Uh-huh.
like to make energy balls that we make and we put chocolate chips in it. Bake muffins and bring those. That's a great anything like that's makes crumbs are really
Right.
great in the forest because they're not on your floor at home.
Yes. There are certain things that I'm like, I hate this snack because it's all over the
Yeah.
car or wherever. Yes, that's a good idea. These are only for outdoors. Good idea. Whenever we
Yes.
go out, because it's like my husband was always like, it is out our back door practically. We go outside and then the house behind us lets us cross their property and then we're in the national forest. And but the kids were always like, I'm hungry. And I'm like, what do you mean you're hungry? You just ate. So we always have to come prepared with snacks because they're always going to be hungry and it ruins our trip. So I'm like, you're not hungry. You wouldn't have eaten if we were at home, but because we're out, they're hungry. I like the novelty
Yes.
idea. And then those
The
crumbly
novelty
ones that you
snacks
have.
really work well. And also, I liked in the winter, I will bring a special drink. Like I will
Right.
totally bring hot cocoa and marshmallows and pack that in my backpack in the colder. But in the warmer weather, like bring a fun drink to make sure they're staying hydrated. Because
Yes.
often kids will say, I'm hungry, and they're actually thirsty. Like
Yes.
they'll eat a snack, and it's sometimes a salty snack or and then they're like, I'm hungry again. It's like, have some water first.
Yes. Water's boring. And so if you have the flavored or
Yes.
something, yeah, that's excellent. All right. So
Yeah.
many moms are, or caregivers or whatever they might be, are working full time. And so the hard thing so often is how do I find the time? And even, you know what? I'm a stay-at-home work from home mom. And even still, I don't even know that it's
Mhm.
that I don't have the time, but it's like I forget to make the efforts. You know what I mean? How do you make the time?
This is like the number one question and challenge that I get asked, like literally. So I talk about this all the time. I love this question because it is absolutely possible to find the time. The thing is, you have to stop trying to make more time. That's not
Okay.
possible.
There's
You have
not
to
more
think
time.
about, right, there's not more time in your day.
Right.
But you have to think about your priorities. So if getting out is actually becoming a higher priority for you, then we need to
Right.
make that a higher priority in your schedule.
Okay.
Then we think about, okay, I like to look at what have you done in the last week that was
Mhm.
outdoors that you really enjoyed? Because we
Okay.
often won't realize how often we've been outside. And we're like,
Right.
we're not doing enough. And then the mom guilt comes on. I'm not doing
Yes.
enough.
Yes.
But I like to look back on the last week or two and be like, think of all the times you've been out. And it's like, oh, I have been out. I really enjoyed
Great.
that. Why don't we just do that again?
Nice.
But if you're really kind of stuck in that routine where it's just you're not sure where to fit it in, I love
Right.
to start with what can you take that you're already doing
Yes.
outside.
Okay. Eating. I'm already have to
Eating.
eat.
I love taking meals out. Take a snack out for a walk, right?
Right.
So you already have to break and you have to stop and you have to eat. If once you take that meal outside, I mean, the cleanup first off is easier, right?
Nice. Yes.
We have plates that go outside. Like I have outdoor
Mhm.
plates. So my kids just take those plates and they just go right outside for lunch
Nice.
or even for dinner. So, and that's something you're already doing. You're not actually needing extra time. It's actually less time because the cleanup is easier.
Nice. Yes. Yes.
And some other things is, if that's what you're getting out with your kids, if you
Right.
just need some recharge time, I love to just
Yes.
talk about how moms need this time too. It's
Yes.
great to get out
Yes.
with your kids, great to get out with your family, but how about getting out for yourself and taking that time where maybe you would drink your coffee in the morning and
Right.
sit outside. Just sit
Yes.
outside. You're changing the location that you're drinking your coffee,
Yes.
right? So it's
Mm.
not more time. It's just changing the location. If you're doing a project with your kids, I love when we have goal work. If you're a homeschooler and you have work
Okay.
that you're doing, or if your kids are in school and they have homework, do
Yes.
it outside.
Yeah. Like reading, like go find a cozy spot to read the book
Yeah.
outside. And then you
Yeah.
can, and multiple people, let's all go do a readathon outside for the next half hour. That's a
Yeah, and
great
we
idea.
actually would love to have play dates with our friends who are in school, and
Right.
we would get together and they would do some of their homework and my kids would do some of their goal work, and they would
Nice.
just work on their learning together and like take breaks and run around the yard and come back. And it's like it just makes it so much easier because you're just outside and there's no walls, everyone can be loud, and you're just sitting
Yes.
outside enjoying being there, and it just takes the pressure off, takes so much pressure off, and everybody's just happier, and all of a sudden like
I
the challenges of doing the work becomes easier.
I love that. The homework one, because homework is such a battle and we leave it till too late. But so, after he's had his free time after school, just be like, hey, let's go outside and just bring your homework and we'll do that. And then we'll ride your bike together for a little bit. I'm loving this. I'm
And
going to implement
it
this.
gives them that freedom to have kids really need to go back and forth, and every
Right.
kid has a different attention span for their focus depending on
Yes.
the age they are and the development that they are and just how they work. So one kid might walk away and need to just go tinker with somebody, one kid might walk away and need to go ride a bike or ride a scooter and then come back. So maybe they're working on something and they're frustrated. If you're inside and you're sitting at the table and you're trying to figure it out, it's very different if you're outside and you can just stand at a table and move around and walk away when you
Yes.
need.
Oh,
And I just
I'm
find
loving
that maybe
this.
you'll spend like an hour outside, but that 10 minutes of homework all of a sudden became easier because
Yes.
the pressure was off.
And my oldest, when he had spelling words when he was in elementary school, I remember actually one of the things the teacher would say to do was to pretend to bounce a ball for each letter. So C-A-T or whatever, and then they'd repeat the word cat when they'd shoot the ball. But why not actually bounce a real actual
Bounce it.
ball outside, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what my
Movement
husband.
is so important, not just for kids. It's important for us too, as
Yes.
adults. And as we become a little more sedentary, as we get older, like it actually impacts our bodies and our mind. So, and it's amazing how when you're outside, it's just so much easier to be moving around than when you're inside. And if you've ever seen your kids maybe not be able to sit still, it's like they're literally climbing the walls. When you go
Yes.
outside, there's no more walls and they get
Yes.
all that energy out. So when they have that freedom to move, it really does allow the brain to just activate in a different way. And it's really what they need.
Well, and I'm thinking it would help me so much too, because I think especially at the end of the day, and I never really realized this until we found out that one of my children are autistic, and I was, trying to learn about autism and different things and about his overstimulation. And I was like, I get overstimulated at dinner time, like,
Yes.
because there's so much noise coming in at me. And so I finally learned that I'd have to tell them, okay, I'm overstimulated. But so one of these ways, because I can't handle all the noise at night, then let's take it outside. It would help reduce my feeling overstimulated because the noise can escape. I'm feeling like so many things already for myself. Because
Yeah.
when I used to teach school, I remember doing the number line. We would walk the number line to do math because different kids learn kinesthetically. But I didn't do
Yes.
it as much in the language arts, because when it was language arts time, we didn't use the body movement as much. I mean, maybe we used some movement for spelling, but not like that. And I'm thinking that you're so onto that, like getting outside to do this will really help the kids' development and help just them not feel like they're struggling when they can take those breaks.
Yes. Those breaks are so important. And you'll
Yeah.
see that I see it all the time. Anytime I work with a family and they try it, it always does work.
Excellent. Probably just helps them learn so much better in so many ways.
Yes.
And different subjects, science, math,
Yes.
language arts, take it outdoors. Just
Take it
even a
outdoors.
little bit, like you were saying, find the time, just like that 10 minutes.
Yes, exactly. And I love to talk about how, look, if you get out for 5 minutes,
Right.
You were outside. That is
Yes.
success.
Yes.
Let's not define success in
As a
that I
2-hour
want-
hike.
Yes,
Well, that's good.
exactly.
You don't have to go on a 2-hour
Great.
hike every week or day or whatever, you know,
Right.
because yeah, I think I just get caught up in to-do lists that I just need to be like, you know what? Me and my family are going outside for 5-10 minutes. And if I
Yes.
have like a daily check off.
And actually, you know, I like to say, pick a number. If we're saying 5 minutes and there's a family like 5 minutes, I just feel like I don't have 5 minutes. I totally get that. Start with a minute. Do what feels too easy.
Yes.
If you start with what feels too easy, you are going to build confidence because you're going to be successful. So I love to start with, like, if I say, let's get out for an hour.
Yes.
Does that make you say, not really sure about that, Claudine? But if I say, okay, let's get out for 10 minutes, does that make you feel like, all right, like if I don't do that, that's just that I have to be able to do that. So go to where you feel it's just too easy.
Just ridiculously easy. Yeah.
Ridiculously easy is where you want to start, because that will help you start putting it into your daily lifestyle.
Yes.
And that will become the new normal.
I love that. Yes.
And then you will build off of that. And before you know it, you'll be on that 2-hour hike. And maybe it's once a month you go on a 2-hour hike. Awesome.
Great.
But all of those moments that you're outside matter. When I go to my freezer, which is in my garage behind my house, even in the winter, I go without shoes and I walk outside and I take a moment and I stand on my grass and I ground.
Breathe.
And I just breathe and I touch the earth and I take a moment and I'm like, okay, it's usually dinner time. And then I go and I get the food I need. And then I go back in the house and I'm like a new person. Like the stress of dinner is just like melted into the earth. But I take that 30 seconds, 60 seconds, whatever it is for me to take a few breaths and stand on the earth. It makes a world of a difference at the end of the day when you're just trying to get to the end of the day.
I really love that, because the earth, it is empowering, you know, like, I don't know, like that book, The Good Earth. Like the earth is powerful. Just take a moment and feel it or breathe it. If maybe, you know, you're in such a city that you don't really have, I don't know, but just being outside the air is there.
Absolutely.
The air is there, and just stepping out into that air.
Open up. Another thing I love to do is to take the energy from the sun. If it, you know, if it's daylight, and to just open yourself up, just like take your arms and literally open yourself up and lean back and just like look up into the sun and breathe in the air and take that time, and you'll still take in that energy. If you can't get to the grass and the ground, then find what feels good for you. And I'm telling you, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it is, don't even count them. It's the intentional moment that you're taking for yourself. The intention really does matter.
And I would be at the park and I would see somebody, you know, I'm there with my kids, and they would get out and they'd run and play for like 5 or 10 minutes and they'd get back in, and I'd be like, that looks exhausting. Why would you load up for only 5 or 10 minutes? And I'm realizing now, because of the benefit of what 5 or 10 minutes will bring. And so, because for me, I'm like, if I'm going to go and load up all my children, this is going to take me a lot of time and effort, because we got to find the shoes. And if we got to, you know, potty everybody and everything, I'm going to be at the park less time than it took me to get ready for the park. But still the benefit that comes from being outside. And I'm loving that I just need to be like, just go outside in my driveway more, because I feel like I've got to go somewhere, but I don't.
These are like the little things that I love to talk to people about in my coaching and just working with the parents in my groups, is like, I always have chalk, a big box of chalk. Chalk is magical outside. And if it's raining, get that chalk, because chalk and rain is phenomenal.
Great mixture.
And if you don't, the mixture and just the colors and the blending. And if you don't have rain,
just smudge it around.
Yeah, get a water bottle and spray it after they do it. But my kids can spend hours with chalk, and they grind it on rocks and they make chalk paint and they mix it, and hours of time with a box of chalk on the driveway.
I love adding something so simple as water. Because one of the volunteer things I do is to play with these kids while their mom's getting an English lesson. And I'm having a hard time figuring out more and more things to do. And we've done some sidewalk chalk and it doesn't really entertain them. Next time I need to bring a water bottle, because just that one extra element can change things completely.
You know, the sand sifters that that have like the grade, You can
Yeah.
use that. My kids have used tennis rackets, they've used rocks, they've used anything they can find, but you rub the chalk on and it'll make the
Uh-huh.
dust. You add a little water and it makes paint, and then
That's
they paint
fun.
with it. So I mean, yeah, it's chalk is such a wonderful thing to have
Such a
around,
basic
and it
thing,
basic
but so much to
thing,
do.
so much to do, and that's just one way that you could just easily like bring activity outside in
Okay,
that
so I
time.
know you can work as a coach, that people can go and
Mhm.
hire you, but on your website, can people and your socials, they can go and find these ideas? You're sharing these little tips that people can go and find
I
these,
do
or
share some of them on my Instagram feed.
okay,
I actually also have a free download that people can take,
okay,
which you were mentioning how you would like to track, like making this time.
yes,
That's exactly what it
yes.
is. So it's a
Oh, perfect.
calendar, and there's little trees on each day of the month,
Oh,
and
yay.
you get to pick your goal. You pick your
Mhm.
goal, and then every day that you reach your goal, you color in that tree. And it's really fun for the kids because they can color in their trees too. But I love, like, you're picking your goal. And in that, I also give you some ideas on getting outdoors too. So some of these ideas are in there.
Beautiful. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I love this. And I think that especially because of how much this is exciting me, I think we could go on and talk about this forever, but we better keep going. I would love to hear a book recommendation. What is a favorite children's book that you can share with our audience?
Yes, I love this because this is a book that I read to the first class when I start a new season.
Oh, yes.
And I love this book so much. It's called The Most Magnificent Thing,
All right.
and by Ashley Spires. And would you like me to tell you a little bit about why it's my favorite
Yes.
book?
Yes, please.
Okay, good.
Tell me more.
So what I like about this is it's about a little girl who just really wants to make the most amazing invention. And she's an inventor, and she's just working so hard, and she has her little dog who's like her best friend, and she gets really frustrated. So
Mhm.
frustrated and so angry that's just not working. And so her best friend, the dog, says, "Let's go for a walk." And so they go for a walk around the block. And when she comes back to where she was working on her project, she starts seeing all the pieces that were frustrating her in a completely different way. And then she starts
Nice.
tinkering and putting it all together. And then she uses the pieces she needs, and she makes the most magnificent thing that she wanted, because she took that moment to step away. And I love reading
Beautiful.
this book the first week to my students that come into my classes, because we do nature art and we create a lot of open-ended things. And I like to bring the sense of whatever you create is your creation. There's no wrong creation. And if
Beautiful.
you are challenged with what you're trying to figure out, just go for a walk. Take a moment, step away from what you're
That's
doing, and
lovely.
come back. And that's why I love working in the forest and having these classes outdoors, because it's
Yes.
so easy. The way we were just talking about taking that project, taking that homework
Right.
outside, it's so
Yes.
easy to just step away. Step away,
Yes.
clear your head. It can be 10 seconds, it can be
Just a
10
quick little
minutes.
reset. Yes.
Mhm. You come back and it all comes right back to you. So I absolutely
Lovely.
love this book so much.
Oh, that is excellent. I'm excited to check it out. Well, thank you so much, Claudine. And we will have in the description below how you can find her and the links to her socials and her website. And then, of course, where you can hire her as a coach, which is so awesome. And I just look forward to exploring this because I'm already feeling energized about this with my kids. And I think
Wonderful.
so often I just, it becomes a chore, and it need not
Mhm.
be that way. And so, you've inspired me to be excited
I'm
about this,
so
which I
glad.
wasn't even expecting when I ran across you. So thank you for that. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so lovely. I absolutely love what I do, and I'm so glad I could help inspire you.